The work of a professional diver is extremely dangerous. Doesn't matter if you're commercial or you're private doing contract work. Check this out.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. It's estimated that there are more than 850,000 miles of undersea cable spread around the world. Though they differ dramatically in diameter and type, they are generally used for either communications or power. And despite being highly advanced in many ways, repairing, maintaining, and installing these cables is a very extreme process. The Aran Islands are located off the west coast of Ireland. Due to its small size, much of its power, internet, and other communications are supplied from the mainland via undersea cables. In 2016, one of these subsea cables ruptured, essentially cutting off all power to the archipelago. A repair company called ESB International was then called in to perform a repair on the damaged cable. The process consisted of sending divers down to the ocean floor to perform the repair, without taking the 500 megawatt connectors out of the water. To accomplish this, ESB created a special habitat repair unit, which required years of training in pools and other simulated environments.
Could you imagine spending hours after hours in this simulated environment to work under extreme conditions in the ocean to fix a cable? Then you get down there and you still got to deal with all the elements.
Even with this solution, the process is still quite difficult. The habitat must be lowered into place in two halves that go over and under the cable. The water is then pumped out so that the divers can make the repair in a dry environment using gloves built into the habitat's side. Repairs aside, simply installing these thousands of miles of cable required companies to come up with a variety of innovative methods and engineering solutions. One such company, Boskalis Subsea, went so far as to design a full-size cable laying ship that boasts a number of unique features.
How many miles of cable you think is on that ship? Unbelievable.
First, it has a very flat hull. This allows it to operate both near the shore and out in the middle of the sea without risking the crew or equipment. It also features a special rotating cable laying turntable that can hold 5,000 tons. Using a tensioner, it installs the cable on the seafloor at the exact same speed as the boat is traveling. All the while, the boat travels along a predetermined route. This is generally designed to avoid any major natural barriers that might cause the cable to rupture or fail. Once it arrives at the second point of installation, a special winch is lowered and the cable's end is pulled through a pylon and up to the surface. In order to attach the cable to land, a special plow is used. This mobile plow can be pulled ashore by a winch, taking the cable along with it and burying it as it moves. This is essential.
You never would think that all this piece of equipment would be needed to lay cable underneath the sea. Without this equipment, there's no way possible it could be done.
To protect the cable from damage in shallow, sandy waters. As offshore windmills have become increasingly popular, companies like Boskalis have played important roles in getting the power the windmills generate transferred to shore. In many cases, both ends of the installation process will take place at the same time. As the cable is being laid and trenched by the specialized cable ship, a team on land will be retracting miles of cable for attachment to the substation. Offshore wind farms are one of the most important advancements in recent history. As the wind blows unencumbered on lakes and oceans, these turbines can produce much more power than their land-based counterparts. However, highly advanced cables are required to capture and transfer that energy. Subsea cables are extremely complex, but must also be placed into extremely harsh and corrosive environments.
Why you dig the tunnels?
For this reason, they are generally well insulated and far more durable than communications or power cables used on land.
You ever wonder how long these cables can remain underwater without being replaced?
Companies generally start with a series of thick wires, then feed that length of cable through a machine that wraps it in protective coatings. Later on, this single section of wire will be included in a much larger package of wires and cables, which will be carefully insulated to maximize its lifespan. In cases where underwater cables or structures need to be repaired, depth will define the overall difficulty of the process. Indeed, most trained divers can reach depths of up to 100 feet rather easily. However, when repairs require divers to go deeper, special teams of saturation divers might need to be called in. Saturation diving is a technique that allows highly advanced teams of divers to operate at depths of several hundred feet or more. In fact, these divers can reach depths of more than 2,000 feet without experiencing any negative effects. However, they must prepare for these operations well in advance. Indeed, the term saturation refers to the process of bringing all the body's tissues into equilibrium with the pressure at the target depth. Before every dive, the team will live in a specialized pressure chamber for as much as a month. While inside, they breathe a mixture of helium and oxygen
30 days inside that small chamber?
as the pressure is slowly increased as required. Once the operation is ready to start, the teams will be transferred into a pressurized bell that will lower them to the job site in 6-hour intervals. When it comes to subsea structures, corrosion from salty environment, animal activity, and microorganism growth are one of the biggest concerns. In the case of this heavily damaged pile, the structure owners called in a team of marine contractors who use deep-sea welders to perform emergency repairs and refurbishments.
As you can see, metal and other structures that contain metal does not do well with salt water. Just completely destroys it.
Once the divers are in position, they start by blasting the pilot clean. This helps remove any buildup that may have formed on the structure using a hydraulic diver-safe jetter. They then plan to bolster the pile using 2 metal half-can flanges. These are specially designed to fit around the existing pile and are installed with heavy bolts and a hydraulic torque gun. The top seam is then welded to the pile in order to prevent corrosion from infiltrating
Obviously, those are special welding rods. Use a regular welding rod on the water. How can it make a flame?
the gap. Underwater welding is one of the most sophisticated and highest paying jobs in the contracting industry, as it requires several sophisticated skills. Corrosion and the buildup of organic materials are not just a problem for permanent underwater structures, but for boats as well.
Barnacles.
In fact, even the most advanced boat hulls and propellers are not immune to this problem. Fortunately, propellers can be cleaned virtually anywhere using a small team of divers equipped with handheld, water-safe grinders. Given the fact
You see the grinder that he's using? He's like literally putting a mirror shine on that propeller. It's amazing because at the bottom of those ships, you get the barnacles and all kinds of crap.
Given the fact that many of these larger propellers can be up to 25 feet in diameter, it can take several hours to polish the entire thing. It's also recommended that this process be repeated every 3 to 6 months in order to ensure the best possible results.
3 to 6 months.
This team is performing underwater propeller polishing using grinders equipped with diamond disc pads. This allows them to significantly speed up the process and deliver the best possible results to their clients. The final polished propeller and rudder are so clean as to provide a near mirror image. This starkly contrasts the thick buildup covering the remaining parts of the ship. Ultimately, it's important to note that the ocean is the enemy of anything man-made. From the thousands of miles of cables transferring power and information to docks, boats, and windmill platforms. Corrosion is a constant force that needs to be held at bay to reduce expensive damage. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.